And we welcome you tonight to the Everett High School Gymnasium. It's Joe Richer Court, Norm Lowry Gymnasium at Everett High School, and we're ready for some Western Conference girls basketball. On the 3A level, it's the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors and the Everett Seagulls. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits. In fact, Steve Willits, you're ready to go, and you've got a coach with you.
We do indeed. We're down here right now with the head coach for the Everett Seagulls, Jeannie Thompson. Jeannie, first-year coach here, 6 wins already through 9 games. This is a team that was sub-500 last year. Overall, quick assessment on your team thus far.
The girls bring tons of energy. They're having fun. They're coachable. They want to learn and get better every day, so we just go out and work hard and try to have fun.
What have you been most pleased with through 9 games?
Just their willingness to try new things and to play defense. Being young, you're going to have moments where you can't put the ball in the hoop, and that's okay. But if you can play defense every single possession and try to at least make it hard on the other team, you give yourself a chance, and the girls are buying into that.
Speaking of defense, you've got a Warriors team that likes to put up 3 balls. Tell us a little bit about what your expectations are for tonight's game.
Well, I've played against John's team for many years, and so I know they're going to come out firing. They have very talented kids that can shoot from 2, 3, 4 feet behind the line, so we're going to have to be aggressive, have our hands up, and hopefully we can win the boards tonight, which will at least keep them, the possessions, hopefully in our favor.
Jeannie, thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Thank you very much, Steve, with Jeannie Thompson, head coach, first-year head coach of the Everett Seagulls. Seagulls come in off a loss on the second to Archbishop Murphy, 52-42. And let's go right back down to the floor, and John Rasmussen and Steve Willits. Steve.
All right, this is kind of a John Gruden moment, right?
It is.
From the booth back to the court or back to the field, whatever you want to say. But last time we saw you, you were on STSPN. Now you're actually out here coaching again.
Exactly. I was having fun with Tom. Now I got to have fun down here on the court, I guess. So it'll be a little challenge.
Speaking of fun, a lot more fun when you're winning. This is a team that started off 0-4 this year. You've since rattled off 5. You already knew that. You've since rattled off 5 victories. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on, the progression of the Warriors.
It's new rules for the girls. It took a little while to learn. We got new scores, and it's just confidence. All of a sudden we got some. We started with a super tough schedule, so it wasn't easy, but we're starting to get a little momentum, and hopefully we can come up against a very good Everett young team, and they're going to give us a great battle tonight. I look forward to it.
Noticing that 4 of your top scorers are all within about 0.5, 0.6 per game of one another, a very balanced attack so far.
I think I've had 6 different leading scorers this season in games, so what a great option as a coach to have, and we'll probably have a 7th maybe tonight. We'll see. I don't know.
Jeannie pointed out that she's played against you in the past when you were coaching. Now you're going head-to-head with her as a head coach. Do you have any fond memories of those days?
They're so long ago for me, I can't remember them. But it's kind of fun. We got 4 head coaches sitting on the bench. My assistant coach at Shorewood, John coached at Everett. So we got a lot of experience on the benches tonight. So should be a good one.
And finally, give us one key to the game. What do the Warriors need to do to come out of here with their 6th consecutive victory?
I think it's going to be our defense and our aggressiveness. If we can stay out of foul trouble, make their shots tough, and then we need to hit the shots too. We're a 3-point shooting team, so we need those to draw.
John, thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve, along with John Rasmussen, head coach of the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Earlier talking with Jeannie Thompson, head coach of the Everett Seagulls. The Warriors, as Steve mentioned, lost their first 4 games to Linden Christian, Juanita Kings, and Lake Stevens, 4 pretty good teams. They went 0-4, and then they've rattled off 5 straight wins over Stanwood, Marysville, Pilchuck, Ferndale, Squim, and Oak Harbor just the other day on the 3rd. So they are here tonight against the Everett Seagulls and the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors set to go here at the pit at Everett High School. And we're going to take a break and come back. We'll talk more about this game and get ready for tonight's starting lineups. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits. Thanks for being with us here. It is a Tuesday night in Everett. We're at the pit at Everett High School. More right here on STSPN.com.
a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
And we're getting set for the introduction of the starting lineups here at Joe Richer Court, Norm Lowry Gymnasium at Everett High School. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits here on STSPN.com. Thanks for being with us here on this Tuesday night. Coming in on the RPI, Edmonds-Woodway at number 20, Everett at number 27. And Steve, we were kind of talking here before we came right back on the air. Edmonds-Woodway is a team, you don't know if they're going to score 40 tonight or 70.
Even his taller players over the years have liked to pop out and shoot the three. On any given night, if you're shooting 40, 50%, you're going to light up the scoreboard. There's other nights, and we've seen it in the past with the Warriors, teams that they look like on paper they should beat, they lose to. So we'll see.
Let's take a look at the starters for the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. A.J. Martineau will be a starter, and for the Everett Seagulls, it'll be Emma Larson. So we'll give them to you as we go along, and we see them introduced out on the floor. For Edmonds-Woodway, Mia Dickinson will be in the starting lineup, and for the Everett Seagulls coming out will be Ella Sylvester as we get the starters underway here, this Wesco 3A game. And then for Edmonds-Woodway, Jaden Warham will be in the starting lineup, and coming out from the other side will be Farrah Parrish, one of the leading scorers for the Everett Seagulls. And then coming out for Edmonds-Woodway will be number 20, Brooke Kearney, and she will do a little jumping around with some of her teammates. And then coming out on the other side will be Lillian Thompson. And finally, for the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, Maddie McMahon in the starting lineup. And Everett will end up with their fifth starter, and it'll be Junior Parrish. So those are the starters for the Everett Seagulls and the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Talking about the Everett Seagulls, Steve, a change in philosophy and a brand new head coach.
Yeah, brand new head coach. I think a new energy around here, too, and that's not a knock on Carr, who was here before, or anything like that. Jeannie, obviously well connected with the community, knows the girls' basketball scene around here from all of her time at Jackson. She played in the area, played right here at the school. So she certainly knows a thing or two about Wesco basketball.
And we will come back with tonight's opening tip-off and game action. It's Everett and Edmonds-Woodway. Tuesday night with a band for a girls' game. I love it. And we're ready to go here. And a nice crowd on hand. Lots of folks from around town just said, hey, let's go to a high school basketball game tonight.
Let's go to the pit.
Let's go to the pit.
One of the better atmospheres, I think, in all of high school sports in Snohomish County, by the way. I start to sound like a broken record. Every time I'm in here, I say that, but every time I'm in here, I mean it. It's just such a fun place to watch a game. I love everything from the way that the court is situated here. They call it a pit for the reason it's dipped down low here. You've got nice lighting in the building. Aesthetically, it works. It's nice. And we like it because we're up here on a walkway and out of everybody else's way.
Well, and the fun thing, and I've always said this about coming here, the old gym across the street, that was a pit.
It was.
Dead spots in the floor and all that. And then they rebuilt over on the other side of Wetmore, and now they've rebuilt for a third time. And here we go. Underway, Edmonds-Woodway with the basketball and moving to our left. And we said they like the three, and they do. Brooke Kearney will miss the first one as they'll get the rebound, kick it back out. Will they try another three? As John Rasmussen already up at yelling instructions as we're 20 seconds into the ball game, and Edmonds-Woodway's had one shot, and they're trying for another 16 to shoot as they go along the baseline. They'll just swing it around until somebody's open. That is somebody open. That's A.J. Martineau with a miss, and then another offensive rebound back out for another three ball that won't go for Maddie McMahon. Another offensive rebound. We might just stay on this end of the court, turn off the lights down on this end as Edmonds-Woodway going with it, kick it back out. Why not? Another three. This one won't go. I think they're 0 for 5 if I lost.
0 for 4, and you know what? 4 different players trying threes, too. The only one that didn't shoot one, I think, was Warham out there.
and none of them went. And then Everett gets the basketball, and they're going to try to get the first points of the ball game with a free throw coming up here, as it was Ella Sylvester who got fouled on the way in. Foul whistled on Jaden Warham. So she doesn't get a shot, but she does get the first foul.
She's in the book. She does get. So now everybody's in the book for something. You're right, and that's exactly what Jeannie was talking about when we interviewed her. The rebounding situation. Edmonds-Woodway again. They like to be out on that perimeter. They really shouldn't be winning the rebounding battle. The fact that you just gave them 3 offensive boards on the first possession, it ended up working out in your favor. But it's not going to bode well if you're going to continue that strategies for the rest of the game, if you will.
Well, we're a minute in, and both free throws are missed, and then a turnover on the other end by Edmonds-Woodway goes right back to Everett. So we're 1:01 into the game, and it's a 0-0 tie so far. 4 shots for Edmonds-Woodway, 2 free throws for Everett, but now a steal by the Warriors going in for a lay-in. It's not a 3, but it's in and good by Jaden Warham. So she does get the first points of the ball game for the Everett Seagulls. For the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors.
The last of the 5 to take an actual field goal attempt and the first one to make one. So we are up 2-0 for the Warriors.
Everett moving to our right in the white uniforms, the home uniforms with navy blue numbers and gold trim, and the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Everett. It'll be Edmonds-Woodway basketball.
Yeah, Larson had a nice look there. She got down underneath, a little bit of pressure on her, missed it. Unfortunately for her, she caught the bottom part of the rim, bounced right back at her, and she was the last one to touch it out of bounds. Warriors basketball.
Edmonds-Woodway moving to our left in the dark green uniforms with purple numbers and white trim.
A little different than the old Edmonds and Woodway days, right? You like those combinations?
I do. We were talking about it beforehand with Todd, our director. It was the Edmonds Tigers, and they were purple and gold. Mm-hmm. It was the Woodway Warriors, Irish Warriors, and they were green and orange back in the day before they combined the schools.
I remember they used to occasionally wear orange and black. They looked like they were Halloween.
Here's a little runner that won't go. Maddie McMahon partially blocked there, and it's going to be grabbed by Everett. Seagulls with it. In the lane, shot no good. A miss there by Ella Sylvester. It's a 2-0 lead for Edmonds-Woodway, and the Warriors have the basketball. Little dribble drive here. Blocking foul is going to be called. A miss there for A.J. Martineau.
Martineau's been a point guard for this team ever since her freshman year, and that's really what she does best. She's a distributor. She can do a little bit of everything, but certainly for a team that likes to shoot, it's nice to have at least one player there that's looking to get everybody else involved. AJ's been doing that ever since day one. She's a big reason why they made it down to the Tacoma Dome last year. And there we just saw a little bit of what else she can do. She can drive to the hoop, which is something that is a necessity on this team.
And she can hit the first free throw and open up a 3-point lead for Edmonds-Woodway. Martineau averages 8.8 points per ball game, had 19 against Squim the other night. Next free throw, hits them both. That's a 4-point lead for the Warriors. 5:48 to go, opening quarter. Full court pressure by Edmonds-Woodway. That's another hallmark for Edmonds-Woodway. Going in, I was going to say out of control, but maybe not out of control. I think Farrah Parrish knew exactly what she was doing.
She either did or she got bailed out a little bit by the green and purple. But either way, she's going to the free throw line. You mentioned it's a staple for Everett, certainly, or Edmonds-Woodway, the press, especially the boys program. I'm sure Robert Brown, if he's watching, or his players, they know all about playing from baseline to baseline, and I'm sure he's liking what he's seeing there.
Farrah Parrish puts in the first free throw, and that's the first points for the Seagulls. Everett comes in at 2-1 in league play, 6-3 overall. Clunks the next one off the front of the iron and won't go, and it'll be cleared out by the Warriors, leading at 4-1. Oh, missing the lay-in there. Missed by Maddie McMahon. Rebound controlled by Everett. Here come the Seagulls, and thinking better of it as Emma Larson just kind of circles her way back out, and they'll set up the half-court offense. 21 to shoot. Top of the key, Larson. And bad pass right into the hands of Edmonds-Woodway, grabbed by Warham. Jaden Warham, and then putting up the elbow, trying to clear out some space there with Brooke Kearney. And here's a shot from about the foul line that won't go. Scrap for it on the floor. Is anybody going to blow a whistle? Looked like a wrestling match.
Nice.
We're doing the Panther Classic on Saturday. It looked like the Panther Classic there.
It did a little bit. Really impressed with Mia Dickinson getting the hustle points there. Not only did she get over to a rebound that really it looked like initially she wasn't even going to have a chance at. She was just the one that wanted it more and got to it. Then she wrestles it away and forces the tied-up ball there. Player who missed all of last season with a knee injury. Good to see her out there.
Outside shot, no good. Farrah Parrish. Rebound controlled by Edmonds-Woodway. Grabbed by Kearney. Up the floor they go. Eyeing the three, didn't take it. To the top of the key now, Martineau. Back out now. Here's a three ball. That one will settle and go. Kearney with it, and that opens up a 6-point lead for the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors.
And Martineau with a steal there.
Another steal and another bucket, and one coming up here for A.J. Martineau.
Yeah, Everett their own worst enemy in that play. That pass just a little bit out of the beyond the outstretched fingertips of the player that it was intended for, and A.J. didn't really even have to move much. She was kind of like a safety play in center field. When the ball comes right to you, you just grab it and go, and that's exactly what she did. And now she's got a chance for a three-point play.
And a timeout on the floor, and we'll step aside with 4:26 to go in the first quarter. It's 9-1 Edmonds-Woodway. Back with more from Everett High School right here on STSPN.com.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At G&S, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Well, from our perch here on the mezzanine level of the Everett High School gym, we could hear John Rasmussen say, "Don't let up."
Yeah, exactly what he should be saying. You know, you've got an 8-point lead. I think a lot of times it's easy for teams early in the game to get complacent, to think, well, if it's this easy now, it's going to be this easy throughout the game. And how often do you see it in all sports? All of a sudden, just a little let up, you let that other team back in, and you let them have momentum. He doesn't want to give that up right now.
Martineau, the 5'6" senior, at the free throw line. Makes that one go. And it's a 9-point lead for the Warriors.
And Martineau now 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Everett on the other side, 1 for 4 as a team. Not really boding well when they need those points right now.
Dump it down low. Turnover here. Martineau with it. Stops at the top of the key. Swings a pass right to Kearney. Across court. They kind of play the little weave here. Kearney with it. Now on top. That's McMahon. McMahon to Dickinson. 10 to shoot. To the top of the key. Looking at it there was Martineau. Didn't. Down to 4 to shoot. And a 3 ball that won't go. But the ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be last touch by Everett, so Edmonds-Woodway retains possession.
Yeah, and so indicative of an Edmonds-Woodway team, so indicative of a John Rasmussen coach team, taking their time, making sure that everybody gets their touches in. No need to rush a shot. Make sure you get the right look. Heave it up when you get that opportunity. They did. They happened to not get it, but consequently they were ready and got the ball back, and now they're going to get another chance.
And Edmonds-Woodway will set up the offense again. Martineau. Now McMahon, as they'll just work it over, kind of standing around a little bit, as they're just going to work the clock for a while. Down to 15 to shoot. Back out to the top of the key to McMahon. Now right side, going in, getting a little space, putting it up too hard as Hallie Warham won't go. Back out for a three that's stuck. It's stuck in between the rim and the backboard. That'll be a jump ball. We'll go to the possession arrow. Somebody's got to get it.
I thought Riaz might get out there, and Riaz Kanji doesn't want to get up there. And there we go.
So assistant coach for the Everett Seagulls gets out there, and he's still got the hops.
Yeah, I noticed our buddy John Lowe, who was the former head coach at Everett, who's now an assistant coach. He didn't want anything to do with it either.
He did not take one step out of the court.
And
you and I weren't going over there
heck
either.
No. Even if I was down there, we wouldn't be going down there. Well, I would grab a basketball. That would be my first.
Maybe climb down from the ceiling would be my...
This will be curious, too. Edmonds-Woodway with only 3 seconds left on the oh, now they reset it. I guess it hit the rim, technically. So
well, we went to the...
Usually when you go to the arrows, though, it doesn't reset, does it? Or am I showing off my ignorance right now?
Well, I don't know.
Kearney says, you know what, I might
well,
give
it hit the rim. That's a reset. It got stuck on the rim. It hit the rim. So that would be a reset.
Yeah, I guess that would be. I guess technically when you hit the rim, when the ball gets stuck in the rim, it's you know it definitely. You can't argue that one, right?
So it will be Everett basketball now. Everett just looking to try and find something positive here. A little runner that won't go, kind of out of control a little bit there was Farrah Parrish. And here come the Warriors again. Dump it down low, going in, reverse lay-in. That looked nice, wouldn't go. Warham up with a shot, won't get it. And this time she's going to be denied the rebound, and here comes Everett. Seagulls down, and then just short-arming. Right there was Lillian Thompson. Couldn't get it to go. And here come the Warriors again, leading by 9.
Offensively, the Seagulls just looking out of sync. Even when they do get the shots up there, they just don't look like they're high quality. They're more low percentage shots than anything, and it's showing on the scoreboard right now.
Well, you can credit Edmonds-Woodway's defense on that, too. Contesting every shot.
There is some of that, too. But even when they aren't, though, I mean, there's little underhand scoops and other things. You'd like to see them maybe get a little more of a clean look or don't rush it as much either.
They used all of the clock, and that's going to be a reset here, and it's going to be really a turnover because they never hit the backboard or never hit the rim. So it will be a shot clock violation. I think John Rasmussen's going to be going deep on the bench for the evening as he's going to check new players in.
Yeah, Caddy Kongura in right now. She's a great track athlete, by the way. As former Edmonds School District, as a freshman, she won the 100 and the 200 championship. She's a well-rounded athlete, and she can definitely play a little bit, so she's checked in for the first time tonight.
Everett with the basketball in the home white uniforms. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, and here's a runner with a right hand up, and it is good by Ella Sylvester. So closes the gap to 7. Now Martineau will bring it up to McMahon. Back to Martineau again. Up faked like twice. I think the second time almost faked herself out. Like, yeah, probably just should have shot. McMahon now out for a long outside three. That's offline, no, for Kearney. And controlled here by the Seagulls, grabbed by Junior Parrish. Up the floor, saved from going out of bounds, but right into the hands of Edmonds-Woodway. Back the other way we go.
Yeah, good hustle by Lily Thompson, just nobody there when she saved it.
And we have a travel before the shot in the corner. Brooke Kearney. She will head to the bench, and Hazel Mills will check in. We mentioned Hallie Warham is also out there.
And big sister Jaden Warham checking back in after taking a couple-minute breather there as well. So we got the sisters playing together for the first time tonight. 13 and 45.
Everett with the ball. Farrah Parrish goes in low, kicks it back out for an air ball that won't go. Back up, that won't go. That was an air ball as well by Junior Parrish and controlled by Edmonds-Woodway. So Everett's getting some looks, but they're just not going to fall. Little runner there, and no free throws. They're going to say it was on the floor
Yeah, Haley Warham trying to get the offensive rebound, trying to help out her big sister who missed the shot. Haley went in there and probably should have pulled back at that point. Easy for me to say up here on the walkway, but certainly she wasn't in position to grab the rebound and reached across and drew her first foul of the night.
Haley Warham, 6-foot freshman. And also checking in now for the Everett Seagulls is Savannah Frank Tolentino. And it'll be Edmonds-Woodway basketball, 48-9 to go in the opening quarter. A 7-point lead. Edmonds-Woodway's been stuck on 10 for a while until now.
As if on cue, right?
As if on cue. Jaden Warham will put it in, and it's a 9-point lead again.
Yeah, I was just about to say that was a nice opportunity for them to get a stop and close the gap before the end of the quarter, but not going to happen now.
No, Edmonds-Woodway, a chance now with the shot clock dead, 22 to shoot, 22 in the quarter to get their biggest lead of the game, which is right now 9, and they're at 9. And Warham will try to back in and then going to be contested defensively. They're going to call a jump ball. And the Seagulls will have it on the alternating possession.
Works out well for Edmonds-Woodway. They get the ball first to start the quarter with a new shot clock. Everett, on the other hand, has to take it all the way baseline to baseline with 12 seconds.
So here they go. They were late starting the clock. Just as you said that.
Worked out well, I guess. It didn't look like it initially for about the first 3 seconds, but Edmonds-Woodway now is going to get back-to-back possessions as if they needed that with a 9-point lead right now.
Right. So Edmonds-Woodway now with the ball, 8.5 to go in the opening quarter. Martineau will bring it up, down to 5, down to 4. Dribble drives. They're going to call a blocking foul there. Ooh,
that was close. AJ extended the left arm. I think she went in there a little bit like she was.
And I thought Emma Weir was there a long time, too.
I think you're right.
NFC Championship.
It looked like the NFC Division playoff game right there. It looked a little bit like a beast mode almost.
So Martineau will be at the free throw line for Edmonds-Woodway. The foul was on Weir, her first.
That's what AJ does so well, though. I mean, she's somebody who she sees the court. She has great handles. You give her enough space out there. You kind of spread yourself out. You give her that open lane to take it. She's going to go to the hoop every time, and that's exactly what she did. She'll exploit you if you're not going to be a little more careful with that.
Next one by Martineau is good. The lead is 11 with 2.3 to go in the quarter. And I think John Rasmussen has just about used everybody. He has. Everybody off the bench has played.
They have. You're right, indeed. It looks like the other two on the bench are not in street clothes.
We are at the end of the first quarter, and the lead is 11. It's been all Edmonds-Woodway so far. It's the Warriors 14, the Seagulls 3. Back with the second quarter right after this on STSPN.com.
Fred's Rivertown Ale House was established in July of 1994 and is located at 1114 First Street in historic downtown Snohomish. Each time you visit the ale house, you may expect to find new beers and new food choices. Fred's Rivertown Ale House is well known throughout the beer community. Oftentimes, we are the first choice for breweries to introduce new beers, limited or specialty beers, and beers you just won't find anyplace else. At Fred's, we like to say that once we get you through the front door, our friendly service, relaxed family atmosphere, and our quality food and beverages will keep you coming back.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on a drink.
And we are back here at Everett High School, downtown Everett. The Everett High band playing in the background, and we're set to go. Second quarter action between the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors and the Everett Seagulls. Warriors with a 14-3 lead who get underway. Riaz Kanji, Darren Lingle, Todd Howell are the officials tonight here at Everett. And on the alternating possession, starting the second quarter, it'll be Edmonds-Woodway.
Is there more than one Riaz Kanji, by the way?
No, there's not.
I feel like I see him everywhere these days.
He referees a lot of basketball. Friday
night over at Mount Lake Terrace versus Marysville Getchell, he did the JV and the varsity game back-to-back.
He did that tonight here, too. So down to 5 to shoot. Going in with a running lay-in, no good, is Maddie McMahon, and she will go to the free throw line.
Maddie's an outstanding player, too. She's been playing for this program since she was a freshman. She's been a contributor since she was a freshman. Has yet to been able to get on the board tonight, so I'm sure she's happy to draw that foul and get to the line.
Edmonds-Woodway coming in 3-0 in league play and 5-4 overall. They've won the 5 straight ball games, started 0-4. As McMahon at the free throw line. Next one is good. You mentioned to Coach when you were interviewing, Brooke Kearney averages 9.1, Martineau 8.8, McMahon 8.5, Warham 8.4. There's your top 4 scorers within 0.5 of each other.
And then he mentioned that in their first 9 games, they've had 6 different players as leading scorers for the night. That's something you don't see very often.
And here's another steal by Edmonds-Woodway. Overplay on the defense, trying to trap her in the corner. Doesn't work. That means somebody's open on the right side, and that is Jaden Warham. Kick it back over to the left side. Kearney. And they never got a shot off.
I don't think the players even realize it. They're still looking like, what just happened there?
Well, they did the trap. I don't think there was never a shot, was there?
It looked as though nobody was even paying attention to the shot clock. I mean, the girls are all kind of mystified. They didn't even realize. Oh, there we go. I was wondering about this. So they apparently never did reset it last time, and that's why that 30 seconds to them and to us, I guess, for that matter, seemed awfully quick.
So 11 on the shot clock, and it'll be out of bounds for Edmonds-Woodway, like they need a break. Leading by 13 points. McMahon just absolutely lost the defender, but then I think it was partially deflected on the way up. But maybe not, because they're going to award the basketball.
It was kind of a funky-looking play. I wasn't sure if at first if it was deflected or if it just slipped out of her hands, and I think that might have been the latter of the two.
As the Everett Seagulls will have it. Down big, 16-3. Going in, dump. Oh, got it back. I thought she was going to put up a shot and missed it. Put it back up, Sylvester. Now down, a little turnaround spin move. That won't go for Emma Larson. Back up. Who's got it? The battle for it. Somebody's going to end up out of bounds. And it's going to say last touched there by Edmonds-Woodway.
Although John Rasmussen seems to disagree. He's giving the tomahawk chop. They're pointing the other direction. And that should be our ball. He's even smiling about it, though. Even Jeannie Thompson has a grin on her face after that exchange. And Everett, not for a lack of looks on that play. They certainly had a few shots there. A couple of them really nice and close in. They just can't get it to fall. There's a little lid on that hoop right now.
Little runner that won't go, and then a jump ball is going to be called. Alternating possession will go to Edmonds-Woodway.
And guess who again? Mia Dickinson once again fighting for a rebound and coming away with it.
And this is one of those games. Now, if Everett makes a 13-0 run here and ties it,
that'd be fun.
Yeah. You can call me, but Edmonds-Woodway is probably going to win this.
It's kind of looking that way right now, isn't it?
So here is a chance for Jeannie Thompson to improve her team, try to be better. This is not. It's not going to be an overnight. Suddenly, you went from last place to you're going to win the state championship.
Well, and even if Everett takes a few lumps along the way, I mean, already they look so much better than they did last year.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talked about it during the pregame. 9-11 last year. So far, they're 6-3 this year, and they look like they're just a more cohesive group. They were an easy out last year. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but on any given night when they showed up, or in the last few years, to be honest,
right?
When they walked into the gym, if you were anywhere in the top half of the Wesco 3A standings, you felt pretty confident you were coming away with a victory. And they might have an occasional night like the one they're having right now, but they're also going to have other nights when they pull away from teams, and we've seen that this year so far too.
And a year ago, Everett, as we mentioned, 4-9 in league play, 9-11 overall. They did make an appearance in the district tournament and lost to Stanwood 56-50.
And that might be what they're shooting for this year. Again, you have to keep in mind technically there's 15 teams in Wesco 3A, 2A, but a few of those teams, 3 of them, end up moving on and don't play in it. But then you get Squalicum and Ferndale coming down, and it's based on RPI rankings. We know Ferndale looks good right now. They're 8-2, although they did lose to Edmonds-Woodway.
Maddie McMahon with a miss.
But really, there's going to be opportunities down at the lower tier portion of the standings for them to get in there.
Shot on the way. That won't go. That's going to be a miss there for Brooke Kearney, and cleared out by Everett. Seagulls. Left side Larson. Good defense there by McMahon. They'll just kind of think better of it and reset it and work the perimeter. And a block foul is going to be called on Brooke Kearney.
So, you start to look at this Everett roster. There's 3 seniors on the entire roster.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of sophomores. One freshman, who Junior Parrish, who gets a lot of playing time and looks pretty good for a freshman, and you only have 2 juniors on the entire squad. So really, I think Jeannie knows that. I think she knows that this is a work in progress, and they'll get there eventually. And you don't necessarily always quantify your success on wins and losses for a team like this. Although it doesn't hurt, right?
Well, and the goal for any basketball, and I don't care if you're Mercer Island in the 80s with Ed Peppel or you're the Everett High School Seagull girls team, is to play 21 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get there.
Yeah.
Let's get invited to the dance. What happens after that is just gravy anyway.
And
if you're Garfield, you're going to win this. You want to play day 4 in the Tacoma Dome.
And I've always been irritated over the premise, and after Lily gets up her shot here and misses that, but I've always been irritated by the premise that, you'll hear people, and you're an auto racing guy, Tom, as we get another 3. The bank's open tonight.
Junior Parrish with the 3 ball.
The freshman, we were just talking about her. You always hear that saying in auto racing, if you finish in second place, you're the first loser.
Right.
I don't agree with that. I mean, if you're going to go under that belief, then in the NFL, only one team has a successful year and the other 31 were nothing. No, I think there are levels of success. And like you said, the ultimate goal, first and foremost, is to play that 21st game, to say you, quote-unquote, made it to the playoffs, made it to the postseason. And then there's levels from there. So if you're at Everett, if you can get one of those top 10 spots, and even if it's a loser-out play-in game again, like it was last year, and you get another one of those games in, and who knows, maybe if the right matchup happens that night and you get a victory, you can say you took that next progression step forward to rebuilding this program to where you'd like to see it. I mean, there's definitely opportunity for Everett this year.
Of course, the other thing they say in racing is if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, too, by the way.
I think they say that in Major League Baseball these days, too.
Well, yeah, that's true, too. 18-8 the score. Everett's hanging around. It was as much as a 13-point lead here. And here's an outside 3 ball that won't go. A miss from outside by Ella Sylvester and controlled by Edmonds-Woodway. McMahon now down to Haley Warham, the freshman, back out for that's a 2 ball from inside the line by
Hazel
Mills with the bucket. Makes it now 20-8. And a clear-out foul is going to be called here on Edmonds-Woodway. And we're going to have free throws coming up here for the Seagulls.
I like what I'm seeing from this Edmonds-Woodway team right now. I mean, this is a team that you start to think about some of the personnel last year. The Adrian Pollings, Polling was I think she was an All-Wesco player 2 years in a row. You got players like Rebecca DeSala-Good and Kristen Rainin, and I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2 here, and I apologize for that. Ingrid Fosberg, who was another really great player for them. All of them graduating in the same year, and I was kind of wondering if they were going to have to go through a small, quick rebuild. I mean, I knew they had Maddie McMahon coming back, and A.J. Martin was phenomenal, and Brooke Kearney was a big player last year at times. She hit some key threes in some big games when they needed them most, so I knew they had some talent, but to see them out here right now and doing what they're doing, I'm impressed with this squad tonight.
20-10 the score. We're at 3:45 to play in the first half. Edmonds-Woodway with the basketball and a corner jumper for a 3 that won't go by Caddy Congria, and then the putback.
And that was by 45,
Haley Warham,
who's only a freshman, yeah.
Put that one back up and in. Opens up again a 12-point lead. Edmonds-Woodway has led by as many as 13. Everett has not led in this ball game. Dribbling in, little runner, won't go. Farrah Parrish has tried that a few times. A usually misses, and B, she ends up on the floor.
Really nice play there. That was Junior Parrish that really caused that turnover there. Doesn't show up in the stat sheet for her, but really she put herself in a position to where Maddie McMahon saw her out of the corner of her eye, realized she was about ready to run into her, and forgot all about trying to dribble the basketball. Quick travel call.
Well, I was kind of trying to say that tonight for Everett, it's small victories.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at the film. They can watch tape tomorrow and go, that was good. No, that was bad, but that was good. And you try to get more goods than bads by the end of the season.
Now, if they go on an 18-0 run and win the game, we're going to go ahead and ask Todd Elvick to go ahead and just erase the entire second quarter tonight.
We're going to kick the cord right out of the wall.
We never said that in the second quarter. Small victories. What's this all about?
Shot on the way won't go. Second one blocked out of bounds as Lillian Thompson was trying for that one, and they're just poked out of bounds. So it'll go right back over to Edmonds-Woodway.
Speaking of Lily Thompson, can I give a shameless plug real quick?
Sure.
We're going to have Lily on the radio on Thursday night, 1380 KRKO. The
Popular Prep Sports Weekly show.
I hear it's extremely popular, and those two guys that host it are awesome. They're handsome devils too, I tell you.
We're right there with Golick and Wingo and Brock and Salk.
Yeah, we've got the Thompson family coming in because Lily, of course,
Thompson twins.
Not the twins. We got the triplets, really.
Okay.
The Thompson trio. We've got Lily coming in along with her coach/aunt, Jeannie Thompson, and then of course Bobby Thompson, Lily's dad, is the coach of the boys basketball team this year.
So that's what's coming up on KRKO's Prep Sports Weekly on Thursday night.
Look at that. We set Lily up. Nice little intro there, and she had an open three. I thought this is going to be perfect, and then she kind of clanked it off the iron.
So Edmonds-Woodway with it, coming up on 2:15 to play in the first half. Haley Wareham outside, won't go. Rebound controlled by Everett. Here come the Seagulls. Sylvester with it. Stop, and she went up with it, but McMahon says nope, swatted away. But she gets it back. Back up, and with the right hand puts it in.
Hey, kudos to both players there for Sylvester for sticking with it. And Maddie McMahon, she had the defense, like you said. She swatted it right out of her hands. Unfortunately, Sylvester with the intuition there, if you will, grabbing it fairly quickly, realizing she had an open look and took it.
There's an open look for McMahon that won't go. Offside rebound, grabbed down by Emma Weir. Now Sylvester again. Kind of left her open as she put it up and in. Don't sleep yet on the Everett Seagulls.
Don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years.
22-14, 8-point lead. A minute 27 to play in the first half.
It's my last LL Cool J
reference
you're going to hear for the night or forever, for that matter.
Congria triple teamed, couldn't really handle it, and controlled by Everett. Here come the Seagulls up the floor. Going in, the lay-in though, short-armed it, no good. Emma Weir.
Is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years. They are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniels the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniels and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniels. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniels the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniels and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniels.
That's live. Yours is not. This one's live. This mic is live. Okay. Oh.
And we welcome you back. Been enjoying the musical strains of the Everett High School Band. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits on this Tuesday night in Everett at the Joe Richer Court, Norm Lowry Gym, Everett High School. And our score at the half, Edmonds-Woodway 27, Everett 14. And Steve, you got to look at the scoring from the first half.
I do, and it won't take very long. There wasn't a lot of scoring, and it didn't get distributed all that much, especially for one particular team. Let's look at the Everett Seagulls first. 14 points in the first half, 10 of which coming from number 20. That would be Ella Sylvester. Three-pointer from Junior Parrish. She hit a tray in the second quarter. And then Sister Farrah Parrish with one free throw in the first quarter. And that is your wrap-up for the Seagulls in the first half. for Edmonds-Woodway, 27 points, 16 of which coming from A.J. Martineau and Jaden Warham combined. A.J. has 9 points, including 5 for 5 from the free throw line tonight. Actually, I take that back. She's 7 for 7 at the free throw line tonight. And I just found out during the halftime intermission that 2 games ago she was 9 for 9 from the free throw line. So she's showing that she can take advantage of the free charity stripe shots, if you will. Jaden Warham with 7 points. Brooke Kearney with 1 3-pointer. Hazel Mills with 2 points. Maddie McMahon with 2 points coming off of 2 second-quarter free throws. And then rounding out the scoring, the freshman Haley Warham also with 2 points.
So here we go, and the Everett Seagulls will have possession to start the second half. They're the home team in their home white uniforms, navy blue numbers and gold trim. Moving to our left, their head coach Jeannie Thompson. Edmonds-Woodway Warriors in the dark green uniforms, purple numbers, white trim. Moving to our right, their head coach is John Rasmussen, and we're back underway, second half. And a shot on the way, that's going to be a miss by Farrah Parrish and controlled by the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Warriors up by 13, and we start the second half, and their first possession of the half. They'll work it around. Dickinson over to the left side to Kearney. Back on top now to Martin. Martineau will dribble long and then kick it right back out for an open 3 look. Then down it will go for Brooke Kearney. Martineau took it all the way to the baseline. Thought she was going to lay it in. Then she saw her teammate wide open at the top, and that opens up now a 16-point lead for Edmonds-Woodway.
Biggest lead of the night. That's an 8-0 run, I believe, going back to the second quarter.
It's an air ball on the other end by Everett. A miss, and Haley Warham is in the starting lineup here in the second half.
And this is the beauty of broadcasting games over the internet. I do have a correction on the pronunciation of Miss Warham's name.
Okay.
It is Hallie, rhymes with Sally. So
I said Hallie, and then you said Haley.
Oh, did I say Haley? Let's call the whole thing off, potato. She's a freshman. What do I know? Right? That coming from my buddy Ted Rainin, whose daughter Kristen played on the team last year.
Okay.
Yeah. He must know me all too well because he even put in parentheses, rhymes with Sally. So that's how I'm going to remember that. So thank you, Ted.
So Hallie Warham. And so Everett with the basketball. Corner shot, hit the side of the backboard. So no reset on the shot clock. And a little runner that won't go there for Farrah Parrish. And she'll have to earn them at the free throw line. And the foul is going to be on Mia Dickinson. The 5'5 senior picks up her first personal foul. First team foul of the second half against the Warriors.
Really a pretty cleanly played game in the first half as far as fouls were concerned. Nobody has more than 2 fouls as of right now.
I don't think we got to the bonus, did we?
We did not get to the bonus. As Steve goes and counts it up real quick. Looks like 5 team fouls on Edmonds-Woodway in the first half, 6 for Everett.
Free throw good. Double score, 30-15. So we're a minute and a half or so into the second half of action here at Everett High School. Edmonds-Woodway controlling the ball now. Here's a scoop lay-in up, and it is good. Brooke Kearney hit a 3-ball earlier, now hits the 2-ball with a scoop lay-in, and it's out to a 17-point lead, biggest lead of the game for the Warriors.
Yeah, she heard us bragging about how A.J. Martineau and Jaden Warham had 16 of the 27 points in the first half. Brooke wants to be included in that conversation with a quick 5 here. She now has 8.
Little spin move there. Back down, little runner, up and good. That is Farrah Parrish with the bucket. And a timeout called by the Everett Seagulls. We'll step aside with 5:56 to go in the third quarter. 32-17 Warriors. Back with more right here on STSPN.com.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
The long hair. I couldn't see her number because of the. Hi, we're back. Steve, here's one of our pet peeves. long hair, girls basketball, well, boys basketball for that matter too. It's hard to see their number on the back.
Well, especially, public address announcing is a lot of fun when you get the long hair and you just have no clue who the player is that's out there on the floor.
And you wait and you wait and you wait till you sometime hopefully going to see the number.
Meanwhile, you got like a couple hundred people inside the gym going, why doesn't he say her name?
Here's the blocked away here by Everett, and here comes Farrah Parrish up the floor, but she loses the handle. And Hallie.
Rhymes with Sally.
It does. Little A.J. Martineau goes in and forgets the basketball, and then coming across the timeline there was Ella Sylvester, and she gets fouled.
Yeah, Hallie wanted to make sure we were really getting her name in there. She got one more reach in there. Went for the steal. Almost had it, too, by the way, but gets a little contact in the process and draws the foul.
So Hallie Warham, rhymes with Sally.
Rhymes with Sally.
Will get her second personal foul, second team foul of the half against the Warriors.
Stay tuned. We have another name pronunciation that we're going to change too, but we're going to wait till she checks in.
Okay. Here's a shot on the top of the key. No good by Parrish. Farrah Parrish with the miss. And you just got people all over the country, don't you?
Ted Rainin knows what he's got a name that gets mispronounced a lot. As a matter of fact, when his son Ben was pitching for Mount Lake Terrace, I probably messed that name up the first couple of times we had him on.
Ben?
Well, yeah, I can get Ben. It was the Rainin part, right?
Okay.
Ben, how do you say this name?
3 of the key to call against Edmonds-Woodway. It'll be Everett basketball off the turnover.
Meanwhile, Ted's watching thinking, I never thought my name would get mentioned like 5 times on the air during the third quarter. And here we are.
Seagulls with it. That's Sylvester looking up. Hallie Wareham with the steal. Up the floor quickly. Foul called. That will send Mia Dickinson to the free throw line. And see who they're going to catch for the foul. I had a feeling it would be Junior Parrish picks up the foul. The freshman at 5'9" will pick up the foul.
That's confusing, by the way. Sister Farrah is a junior.
Yeah.
Junior Parrish is a freshman.
Go figure.
Yeah, go.
I'm guessing 15 and 16 years ago they didn't worry about that.
No. Well, after next year they won't have to worry about it either. But
Carolyn Jamison will check in now for Everett. She's another sophomore. The lead is 16 points for Edmonds-Woodway. Next free throw is good. And is it Kadi Conjura?
It is Kadi Conjura. There we go.
Is that was that the correction?
Yep. KON-JEER-A. Conjura.
Okay. So Kadi though.
Kadi, yes.
Going in and losing control there was Farrah Parrish. Going down, little shot off the side of the iron by Sylvester won't go. Controlled by McMahon for the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Warriors in command here. Double score at 34-17. We're coming up on 4 minutes to play in the third quarter at Everett High School. Wesco 3A girls basketball on STSPN.com.
Edmonds-Woodway once again showing nice patience. Oh.
Conjura will lose it out of bounds, but they're going to say last touch by Everett as they contested the pass. 7 to shoot.
I even like the pass that A.J. Martineau made a minute ago all the way across the court to Kadi. She kind of had her eyes in the direction of McMahon, and then she just threw it over to Conjura. It was a nice pass. Just couldn't quite get a look out of it. 1 second.
Nope, not going to get a shot off. Shot clock violation. And the Seagulls will take the basketball with 3:45 to go here in the third quarter. We mentioned Edmonds-Woodway coming in 5 straight wins.
Boy, and they're about to go down a really tough road here, too. I was looking at their schedule earlier. I mean, the Wesco 3A is not easy to begin with. We'll talk about that here in a moment. But, yeah, Edmonds-Woodway is going to really get tested here over the next 10 to 14 days.
Cross-court pass to McMahon. Goes in a little bit closer, but kicks it back over to Martineau. 17 to shoot. She does a little walk there. Well, Edmonds-Woodway, after tonight's game with Everett, Friday, a much improved Snohomish team, but they'll be home against the Panthers. And then home against Arlington next Thursday. So those are 2 toughies.
Snohomish, who started off 2-7, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Kinsley Gallatin was out, and now that she's healthy. I mean, I was shocked when I saw that score the other day. They beat an undefeated or previously undefeated Shorecrest team and beat them rather easily. A Shorecrest team that really kind of took it to Arlington the week before.
Never count out a Ken Roberts coach team.
No.
And plus when you get everybody healthy and they front load their schedule like John Rasmussen, they went 0-4. Were they an 0-4 team? No, but you play, like he calls them, the University of Linden Christian. You know, you're playing the tough teams. You're playing the defending 3A state champions and the number 1 4A team.
Get your team battle tested. Get them ready for those big games in mid-February, and hopefully, if you're lucky enough, if you're good enough, I should say, into early March, and that's exactly what both of those coaches do.
Outside shot, Maddie McMahon puts it down, and immediately a timeout called here by John Rasmussen of the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Let's keep it right here. So the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, again.
These next 5 games, I mean, it's just brutal. It's Snohomish, it's Arlington, both at home. You got a Marysville-Getchell team that is probably a little bit down this year, but you know what? I saw Maddie Grandboyce put up 23 on Mount Lake Terrace the other night. She's already signed to go to Central. She can take games over a little bit. You've got an Archbishop Murphy team that's very well coached. Cassie Snyder had a lot of nice young players on that squad last year. They're still undefeated in league play. And then you have Meadowdale, who's a bit of a wild card. I mean, they were 1 shot away from making it to the Tacoma Dome last year.
Right.
All 4 of their top starters are back. They're 1 through 4, maybe even they're 1 through 5, probably almost just as good as anybody in this league right now. That's a tough 5-game stretch right there.
And that's what is facing Edmonds-Woodway coming out of the timeout here. It'll be Everett basketball with 2:21 to play in the third quarter, down by 20. And full court pressure by Edmonds-Woodway, and it pays off. They get the steal. Down low, lay-in, bucket, up, good. Brooke Kearney.
Yeah, Mia Dickinson once again getting the hustle points tonight. Her box score's not going to look as impressive as some of the other players, but really she's fought for a rebound. She's forced balls out of other girls' hands into her teammates' hands for rebounds. She gets the steal, sets up Brooke Kearney for a nice, easy bucket there. She's just all over the floor. I'm really impressed with what I've seen from her. And, again, I'm sure she was a little eager to get back out here. That was a team last year that was we knew going into the season they were going to have a lot of success. And I think she hurt her knee in soccer, if I remember right. Didn't get a chance to be a part of that Tacoma Dome team. So you know she was ready to go this year. And she looks the part of a player who's just fired up and ready for the 2019-2020 season.
Foul is going to be called on Kadi Conjura. That's her second personal foul, 4th team foul. And Everett will inbound. Fresh 30 on the shot clock with 1:58 to go in the third quarter. Down by 22 points. And another foul called here on Edmonds-Woodway. And it will be Farrah Parrish at the free throw line. She's got a couple of free throws coming up here.
You talked earlier about small victories for Everett, and we're starting to see a few of those tonight. I mean, even into the third quarter, I like the way they're playing. They look like they're moving the ball around a little bit better. Still playing tough on defense. Like you said, it's not necessarily about getting a W and walking out of the gym tonight with a victory. It's about continuing to improve and getting ready to go for the rest of your schedule. You've got half of your season left, and the games that are being played from here on out, they're all conference games. They all matter.
So, for Everett, as Farrah Parrish misses the next one, and rebound will be controlled by Edmonds-Woodway. Edmonds-Woodway tonight, Meadowdale home on Friday for Everett, then at Cedar Crest, home against Shorecrest on Wednesday the 15th, then at Mount Lake Terrace. So that's their next 5 games. There's some tough ones in there.
There's some very tough ones in there. And Mount Lake Terrace is not going to be an easy out for a lot of teams this year. A young team, but really a scrappy team, and a team that has a lot of promise for the future.
And Everett hasn't even played Arlington or Snohomish yet.
Yeah, that's true. And Cedar Crest, by the way, off to a really hot start this year. A team that we really never know much about, at least if kind of just from the standpoint of just kind of keeping an eye on things from afar. You always kind of assume, well, maybe they'll be one step down from some of our other top teams, but right now they're playing just as well as almost anybody.
And we'll talk about the RPI coming up in the fourth quarter. Here's a grab here by Edmonds-Woodway as we're coming up on 1:22 to play. Little runner laying up. Ooh, that was a miss by Martineau. Cleared out by Everett. Parrish brings it down, takes it herself, goes in, foul called. 2 shots coming up here for Farrah Parrish. Kari Conjura will pick up the foul, I do believe. If he puts up 2 1s, he does. It's number 11, Conjura. Her 3rd personal foul, 6th team foul.
It's John Rasmussen basketball there. You didn't get the bucket, but you know what? Just watching the way that Mills very carefully let the ball bounce in front of her, got control, grabbed it, got it to Conjura. Conjura notices Martineau running through the lane, kicks it to her. They may not have finished the play, but they certainly executed it the way they wanted it to. And then you look on the other end, Conjura is the first one back down there on defense. So a lot of good hustle, even though they're up by 21, a lot of fundamental basketball. It's kind of what the Warriors do. That's what John Rasmussen does, and that's why he's been successful wherever he's been.
And Rasmussen, who played all 10 players in the first half, is getting close to there again here in this second half. 1 minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Martineau, little kind of a, yeah, they're going to call her for a travel. She kind of weaved and dove, and it'll be called for a travel on the turnover. Now checking in for Edmonds-Woodway. On the inbounds here for Everett.
Yeah, Kearney and Frunk checking back in for Edmonds-Woodway.
I missed the 14. There's a 14 out there that we don't have on our.
Oh, there is a 14. Look at them sneaking around on us there.
Yeah. And Rasmussen, I put him on the air last week at the top of the peak tournament too.
You did more than put him on the air. He did what? Two games with you? 3 games with you?
2 games. Best color guy I've had.
I certainly don't take. Hey, you know what?
I just sprayed that one all over.
I was going to say I certainly don't take offense because it's not my strength. But you got some guys listening out there that might beg to differ on them. Joel Boyer, I didn't say it if you're listening, and I know you are. So
I think we got AC listening too. So we got.
He's watched The Bachelor's probably on by now. I think he's probably he'll watch later.
Or the Red Box Bowl with the Golden Bears and the Fighting Illini. So the Riaz Kanji is just trying to get everything all straightened around here. We're going to have a full timeout here, but still with 20.2 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. And we can talk about, we can start
I'm
talking.
still scratching my head. I was like, what the heck's going on there? But all I know is we're in a timeout, right? That's, I guess, all I need to know.
All you need to know.
In a 21-point game?
Yeah. And the 4th quarter coming up here. Again, 4th quarter, we'll talk about the RPI rankings. And interesting how things have changed, the way teams have to schedule, the way teams move around, but it's important.
It's important. It changes the way you watch the scoreboard too.
Yeah.
You're suddenly watching, and to see how teams did that you played earlier in the year because their strength, they're going to help or hinder your strength of schedule. So all of a sudden you've got coaches, checking their phones or checking Twitter or wherever else it might be that they go to get their scores, and checking STSPN.com for scores, whatever it might be, and it means something.
Well, and because you're looking at your own record, you're looking at your opponent's record, and your opponent's record. That's the big one. Even though it's 10% or 20% of the total,
it still factors in. You're right. I mean, and really if we're being honest, if you're not one of the top teams, you're probably not watching the RPI as much because if, let's say you end up with an RPI of 35, even if you get through to districts, at the end of the day, they're going to take the top 16 teams and rank them based on where they're at. If you're 35, 36, or whatever it might be, you're looking at a 13, 14 seed regardless. So the difference between being a 35 and a 29, maybe not as much, but really for the teams higher up in the standings, it could be the difference between them getting a bye into the Tacoma Dome come regional time or them having to kind of play for their playoff life, if you will.
Right. And they did, of course, make it so that no matter what, you've got to play and win through district. If you lose in district, you're not
absolutely
going. Then once you get to the regionals, then it's up to what happens on the floor.
Well, I think we're seeing that in Wesco 4A a lot with that Wesco-Kinco crossover. Only 4 teams coming out of there this year. If you're Glacier Peak or Lake Stevens, you're not so much worried about the RPI. You're worried about what you're going to have to go through in the district playoffs because you could be number 2 or 3 in the state. And if you lose the wrong 2 games on the wrong 2 nights, and you very easily could because that district playoff from top to bottom is going to be brutally tough. It's not going to matter where you're at in the RPIs if you're not able to come out of there.
and that's the gamble of playing against another league, is you pool all of your resources, and now, you know what? We may send nobody.
Helps you in some sports, hurts you in others, and certainly Kinko always very dominant in basketball, that's for sure.
Fourth quarter coming up. Our score at the end of 3, 39-18. The lead for Edmonds-Woodway. Back with the fourth quarter right after this.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and
Fourth quarter about to get underway here at Everett High School on a Tuesday night. Wesco 3A girls basketball. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits. Todd Elvig keeping us on the air down there. Sarah Elvig running the camera.
And the folks in the big red truck, don't forget them either.
the big red truck, yeah. I thought you were talking about the Red Box Bowl again. So inbounds here, and we'll have a chance to talk here in this fourth quarter about the RPI rankings and our local teams. Nice little
Euro
fake
step.
there.
Yeah. It looked good.
Farrah Parrish.
Farrah's not too happy about it. She's got a scowl on her face like, what? But it's probably the right call.
Well, she committed the turnover after the nice-looking move, and now Sister says she's going to avenge her by getting the tie-up, but it's going to be Edmonds-Woodway basketball anyway on the alternating possession. So coming into play tonight, since we're watching 3A girls, Steve, let's talk about the 3A girls. Top 3 teams in the state. Number 1, Bethel. Number 2, Eastside Catholic. Number 3, the Shorecrest Scots.
Oh, the Scots are still up there.
Yeah. This is as of last night. And then our local teams that are in the RPIs, I didn't go too deep, but Arlington number 6, Meadowdale number 16, and the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors you're watching tonight here at number 20.
Yeah, you've got those teams right there, and obviously, like you said, Snohomish probably being hurt a little bit by the fact that they had such a tough schedule and coming out on the wrong end of some of those games early on, but certainly if they can start to put together a win streak, they're going to start jumping up there quickly enough, and we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, again, this is a tough league this year. I mean, that's about what I would have thought for those teams to be right now, and that's where they are. I mean, we're going to see – really, we're looking at a wide-open Wesco 3A this year, which is kind of fun in a way. We've had other years where you kind of look ahead of time and you're like, that team's your number 1, that team's your number 2. Maybe there's an argument for the 3 and the 4. They're tight, and then 5.
But you figured that Arlington Snohomish are going to battle for the number 1 spot out of the league in years gone by.
Oh, in years gone by, yeah. Absolutely. Or when Linwood, obviously.
Linwood, yep.
For 5 or 6 years in a row.
Right.
Everett Edwards had that team kind of humming along with Michaela Pivick and the his daughters and some of the other players on that team, and Kelsey Rogers and whatnot. But, yeah, so you've certainly seen a lot of the same teams that are going to be battling year in and year out. And now you've got a Meadowdale team who was really strong back in the late 90s and early 2000s in the Karen Blair years. And all of a sudden they're starting to kind of rebound, and they've got a really nice squad right now. And Edmonds-Woodway, as long as John's there and they've got their feeder programs and some of the other folks in that community, the Dwayne Hodges of the world, who have really done a nice job of – give a shout out to some of those folks who have really kind of done a nice job of building the program up and helping with the feeder programs and the youth leagues around there, and ESAs and some of those other people around there. Yeah, you've got some of the same names that you recognize from year to year, but I don't know that we've seen as much parity in years past as we maybe are seeing right now.
Mia Dickinson at the free throw line. The lead is 39-20 for Edmonds-Woodway. Talking about the 4A girls then, the top 3 in the state, the Woodinville Falcons, Todd Beamer and Kentridge, 1, 2, and 3. Then our local teams, Lake Stevens, number 9, Glacier Peak, number 16, Jackson, number 35.
Yeah, I think when you're having a conversation about Wesco 4A girls basketball this year, no disrespect to anybody else, but really it starts and ends with those two teams. It's
Glacier Peak
and Lake Stevens.
Yep.
They've already played, obviously, once. They played on Friday night, and Glacier Peak going on a nice, like a 16-0 run in the third quarter to pull away.
Right.
They've got another game coming up in a few weeks. There really is just a huge drop-off after that. You've got Kamiak and Jackson who will probably kind of battle for that 3rd and 4th spot, but it's not going to matter by the time it's all said and done, not only in the sense of where you're going to finish in the Wesco standings, but really once you start bringing Kinko into the equation for the bye district, it's going to – your two teams that have a shot to get to Tacoma are Glacier Peak and Lake Stevens. And as we talked about earlier, you're not even guaranteed that right now.
And then the 2A girls, Linden number 1, Ellensburg number 2, Tumwater number 3. And then our local teams, 18 Cedar Crest, number 23 Archbishop Murphy, and number 46 Lakewood.
And we say it time and time again, and this goes for the boys and the girls. 2A basketball in District 1.
Right.
Really tough. I mean, there's some really solid teams there, and I think when Mount Lake Terrace went down to it, and we think about this more from the boys' side of things, just because of the fact that their boys' program has been the strength of their basketball program at that school. But everybody thought, well, when you go to 2A, it's going to be such an easy trip down to the Yakima Sundome every year.
No.
I don't know that it got any easier for them. I mean, when you start to look at some of those teams, and we're seeing it from the girls' side of things too, Linden being ranked as high as they are right now, Burlington Edison, like you said, they're a top team. There's so many great teams right now that, yeah.
Well,
Archbishop Murphy, I mean, they're on top of the standings right now.
And if you 2A sports, up and down, every sport, statewide, may be the best competitive league. Football's always very competitive.
Half the teams that have won state titles in the last 15 or 20 years have come out of District 1 for football.
Right.
Yeah. No, you get up there into Whatcom County, and Skagit for that matter too. Some great athletes.
So taking a look then at the 4A boys in the RPI rankings, here it's 5:29 to go in the third quarter, 42-23 the lead for Edmonds-Woodway. Farrah Parrish at the free throw line for the Seagulls. 4A boys, number 1 Union, number 2 Glacier Peak, and number 3 Skyview. You surprised Glacier Peak's up there?
I watched them play once this year, and granted it was against Cascade, who's down right now, but Glacier Peak I love the way they play basketball. They don't have a lot of big names at this moment. I mean, as far as, guys that we think of as being all state caliber players, but they play together. They play well. They swing the ball around. They play selflessly. They just really play. I hate to keep using the same term over and over again, but they're a fundamental basketball team, and I didn't know what to expect from them coming into the season, but as soon as I saw them play for the first time, they're a solid squad. They might be making a big run this year towards Tacoma.
Give it a little plug. Nice article on Bobby Martin from Glacier Peak.
I saw that, yeah.
In the nice article in
Bobby
the Everett Herald.
And can still play, yeah. Former Glacier Peak player who's now at Everett CC.
And in the article, it was funny. He missed a free throw at the missed the front end of a 1-and-1 down at the Tacoma Dome, and he was ready to give up basketball. He was done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I've got unfinished business. It's Marshawn Lynch. Unfinished business. I got to come back. So he's playing for Everett Community College, who's doing very well.
They've always got a great program. Mike Trotman does a phenomenal job there, and Bobby's been one of those players, even as a sophomore in high school. I remember watching him for the first time and being really impressed with what he brought to the table. He was kind of a bull in the China shop back then, and you could tell he had some of the fundamentals and a lot of energy, but almost didn't know how to corral it at times and use it appropriately. And we've seen him get better and better over the years, and now he's starring over there at Everett.
Miss in the corner by Mia Dickinson, controlled by Everett. Seagulls down 42-25 with 4:21 to go here in the game, and now a steal and a grab by Edmonds-Woodway. So the local teams in the 4A boys, number 6 Mariner, number 15 Jackson, number 17 the Monroe Bearcats. I'm surprised Monroe's up there that high, and Jackson and Mariner is just waiting to explode.
We knew that Mariner was coming. They were there last year. I mean, they made it to the state tournament last year for the first time, I think, since 2007, and they made it with a fairly young group of guys. We knew they were going to need to get a player or two to step up, and I know they lost Edwin Boa last year, who was their point guard, and Jackson, I think is his name, Jalen Jackson, the freshman, has really kind of come on strong lately, and they've got a really strong core group of players. They're 8-1 right now on the season, heading into another big weekend coming up for them, but Mariner's going to be a team that's going to contend for that Westco title. They're not going to just let Glacier Peak run away with it and give it to them. They're going to be battling.
3-8. What?
Todd was just pointing out to me that Jackson Monroe tomorrow night for the boys, so that should be a really good game. And you mentioned Monroe, Coach Prone on his first year there, longtime coach over at Overlake. He's got a lot of really good athletes, guys that we've seen on the football field.
EC3.
Efton Chisholm III, Blake Rybar, and a handful of others who are really playing well. Olson and a few others that are really starting to come around. They had a lot of tough losses early in the season. When you look at their schedule and look at some of the scores, they're starting to put it together. They're not going to be an easy game for anybody. I don't know that they're necessarily a favorite to win Wesco 4A, but they're going to battle on any given night, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they end up in the upper half of the standings there when it's all said and done.
The 3A boys, number 1 is Mount Spokane, number 2 Evergreen, number 3 Eastside Catholic. Locally, Stanwood at number 7, Shorecrest at number 11, Marysville-Pilchuck at number 14. So Stanwood's come on strong.
Zach Ward always does a great job for that program. You know, they had a really tough loss to Lakewood early in the season, and from what I was told, I think Lakewood just caught fire that night from behind the three-point line. And it was one of those scores that it kind of jumped out at you, and when it first happened, you thought, well, maybe this isn't Stanwood's year. And they're starting to put it together. They've got a lot of talent, Roberson and some of the other guys. And as long as you've got Zach Ward there and you've got such a strong youth program and their feeder program, that community does it right. Everybody's involved. Everybody's on board with what they're doing. The kids from 4th grade on are playing into the system and preparing for it. Yeah, when Stanwood has an off season, it usually means they're going to win 60 to 65% of their games. That's a rebuild for them. They've been kind of, I think, building up to this year anyway. They had a young team last year, and it doesn't surprise me right now that they're in the top 10 in the RPI.
And I was in Stanwood, in fact, on Saturday, and the new school is being built. We like to call it Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
Can they keep the old school or the old gym, by the way?
I don't think so.
I love that gym.
They're going to have a new, new everything. So it's a beautiful facility up there.
I can imagine. Hey, anytime you get a new school these days with the architecture that's out there.
Yep.
We saw it at Lake Stevens already this season, and Stanwood's going to be in that same boat very soon.
And we wrap up our look at the RPI in boys basketball for the 2As. Number 1, Burlington Edison. Number 2, Toppenish. Number 3, North Kitsap. So the Burlington Edison Tigers, number 1 in the 2A boys.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we said, all those teams up north, they're always strong. Seems like there's always somebody who's up in the top 3, top 5, and this year it's Burlington Edison. And then look who's number 5, Mount Lake Terrace.
Mount Lake Terrace, number 5.
Go Hawks.
Lakewood, number 22. Cedar Crest, number 37. Timeout on the floor. We step aside. 42-28. The lead for Edmonds-Woodway. Back with more on STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200-plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Thanks for being with us here on this Tuesday night from Everett. If you like what you're seeing, make sure you boosters contact STSPN.com and invite us out. Won't necessarily get the good broadcast with Steve instead of you and I here, but
they're like, can that Lafferty guy leave that other guy at home?
Edmonds-Woodway with the basketball, leading at 42-28. You know, you got to hand it to Everett. They've stuck around.
They have, yeah. We kind of, it's one of those deals where you look down and all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, we still have a 14-point game here. They certainly haven't given up. I mean, Edmonds-Woodway has only scored 15 points in this half. And there we go, as I say that, almost on cue, close to a steal there. By the way, yeah, Everett, their community, we really want to throw a nice little kudos at them. As Todd just mentioned, having the boosters step up and request to have us out here. I know Bruce Overstreet and some of the other folks here on campus, and the coaches have been great, both of the Thompsons. And really, like he said, I mean, if you want to see your teams covered on STSPN, let them know. Let them know that you're willing to bring the crew into the building, and you're okay with us setting up and putting a spotlight on your athletes, and we'll have a little fun broadcasting them.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Grandma, who lives in Overland Park, Kansas, loves watching.
Your grandma?
The grandkids. No, my grandma lives somewhere else.
Yeah. Probably with mine,
yeah. Yeah. But that's what grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles that don't live in the state, or it's hard to get out
in the country.
Yeah, they get to watch the kids, boys and girls, just about evenly distributed as well. Mm-hmm. We've got some wrestling coming up on a Saturday at the Snohomish Panther Classic Wrestling Tournament. That'll be on STSPN as well. And we'll give a plug for our KRKO radio game on Friday night. It's the Coaches versus Cancer game at Arlington High School. It'll be the Arlington Eagles and the Shorewood Thunderbirds. That's on radio on KRKO radio.
So you're saying we're going to be busy over the next month or so?
We're going to be busy. And here is a steal here for the Everett Seagulls. Amina Hussein with the steal over the left side. Shot on the way, no good. Lillian Thompson. And controlled here by Hallie Warham.
Rhymes with Sally.
It does. Minute 33. It's time to start thinking about our adrenaline fundraising player of the game, who you'll talk to down on the floor.
I got to get going here in a minute, don't I?
You're gonna make the long trip down to the floor.
Can I jump or do I have to walk?
You can shinny down if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not athletic enough, and even if I was, I don't know that it's might be a little bit too long of a drop for me. Unless Mike Taggart will catch me if he's down there.
Hey, Mike, catch.
Yeah, be a nice cushion.
So, who do we think we like?
Well, I'll tell you who I like. I think it would be tough for me to go against A.J. Martineau, the way she's played. I think especially, kind of quiet in the second half, but then again, so is the entire team. I think they've kind of taken their foot off the gas, but we've seen her do a little bit of everything. She's drawn fouls. She's gone to the free throw line. She's hit her free throws. She's scored. She's distributed. She's gotten steals. Just an all-around really good game for the point guard. That's my vote.
I'm with you.
There we go.
100%.
And she gets a T-shirt now, so check that out. And her brother, Jesse James, is watching from, I believe, the University of Washington. So former Mount Lake Terrace athlete. They're one of those IB/STEM program families.
Right.
So, one's going here, one's going there, and now they'll be rivals for the rest of their life whenever Mount Lake Terrace and Edmonds-Woodway play sports.
Okay.
So we'll hook up A.J. Martineau tonight. How does that sound?
That sounds good. That will be our player of the game coming up as soon as the game concludes. Steve will make his way down to the floor. We're at a minute 33 to play in the basketball game. Edmonds-Woodway with the ball. And they'll bring it up the floor. Full court pressure here by the Seagulls. Final minute 27. Near steal there by Parrish. Scramble for it down on the floor. And a jump ball is going to be called. And the possession arrow is going to favor the Everett Seagulls. So the Seagulls will have it. And checking back in is Kali Kanjira. Will come back out on the floor for Edmonds-Woodway. John Rasmussen played everybody tonight, as did Jeannie Thompson, head coach of the Everett Seagulls. Ball's knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Everett. And touched there by Farrah Parrish. So that'll turn it back over to Edmonds-Woodway, and the Warriors will have it, leading by a 42-28 score. They've only scored 3 points, Edmonds-Woodway, here in this quarter. And Everett scored 10. So Everett's hung around. And we're going to have a foul called here. That'll send Edmonds-Woodway to the free throw line. The foul's going to be called here on Everett's Ella Sylvester. Her first personal foul. Inside a minute to play now here in the fourth quarter. 42-28. The lead is 14 points. Oh, we're going to have a foul called. Riaz Kanji is going to call this foul from the near side because it was just before there was going to be a turnover. Rhea Pence will pick up the foul, the 5'7" sophomore. Her first personal foul, sixth team foul. 42 seconds to go.
Kanji said he didn't want to be on the film tonight.
Is that right? We're gonna pixelate him out everywhere he goes.
Blur him out, yeah.
Edmonds-Woodway just working the ball around, and now Everett will intercept it. Grabbed there by Lillian Thompson. And up the floor, down to 19 seconds to go in the quarter. The shot clock is dead. A turnover here. And here comes Edmonds-Woodway, the final 8 seconds of the game. And they can just dribble it out. And this ball game will draw to a close, and it'll be 14-point win. Final score, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Oh, we're going to get free throws?
Hey, Tom, if we could have Todd over here. Put the camera over in this corner. We've got Everett fans that are still excited to be out here tonight, right? We got the cheer squad over here, the fan base. They're still getting into it, even though their team's about to take the loss.
What are the signs
What
say?
do we got for these signs? Who are we supporting tonight?
Anna Erickson and Kayla Lay.
There we go.
Put Kayla in, number 12.
So is that going to help to get Kayla put in the game at some point?
Probably not.
Still having a good time.
And a timeout on the floor. No, actually, well, I've got 1.9 on the clock, but they're shaking hands. So I think we're going to be at a final of 42-28. And Steve's going to talk with our player of the game, brought to you by Adrenaline Fundraising. Thanks to our other sponsors as well. Speedway Chevrolet, Fred Snohomish, GNS Heating, Cooling, Electrical, McDaniels Do It Center, Monster Energy, and Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens. Get 42-28 of the final. And Steve will make his way out there, and we will have our...
Are they going to sing their fight song first? Sometimes Everett likes to go do their fight song first.
Everett will do the... Well, Everett can do their fight song, but...
yeah.
That's not going to affect us too
What
much.
am I thinking here? Yeah.
Here we go. We are now with our Adrenaline Fundraising player of the game. This isn't her first rodeo. AJ, I'm going to give you that shirt. Can you hold that up proudly there? AJ Martineau, player of the game tonight, getting the big victory, 42-28. I got to ask you first and foremost about this team. You were the youngster for so long with some of the older players here the last couple of years. You're now the grizzled veteran, if you will. Been starting at point guard since your freshman year. What's the biggest difference for you from this season to last year or the year before?
I just have to be more of a leader. My body language has to be better on the court. I just have to show these younger girls what the game's like and just help them out and show them how to play and just feed them so they can be in my position when they're a senior.
Perfect at the free throw line tonight. Your dad ran into me at halftime and told me you were perfect at the free throw line a couple of games ago, 9 for 9. Talk a little bit about the fundamentals of basketball and making sure that not only are you doing it when you're driving the lane or popping out for a three, but you're also getting it done at the charity stripe.
I think it's just focus. It's really important for me just to take a breath, settle down after all the adrenaline, and just keep my follow through and hold my routine and stuff. So,
6-game winning streak, preceded by a 4-game losing streak. What was the mentality like for this team after the first 4 games?
It was really tough, but we just stuck together. We had determination. We really just, I think it was hard for us in our non-conference games. Like, it was hard to just, get up for those games because I feel like it's not league, and it's just, in some instances it's not as important for, seeding and stuff. But I think after those 4 losses, it just showed us, we need to, step it up and play to our potential and play our game. And I think we're just really motivated now after those 4 losses, just play better as a team and just play better basketball.
Have you had a chance to take a look at the upcoming schedule? It's not going to be an easy one.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but I think we just need to stay together, work hard, and keep playing good basketball.
Well, again, AJ Martineau, I think 11 points unofficially tonight, a lot of which were at the free throw line. You got it done in every which way you could. Congratulations on the victory, and best of luck to the Warriors.
Thank you.
Now let's get this guy over here, John Rasmussen. John, we talked about it earlier before the game. Talked about playing defense, talked about grabbing rebounds. You seem to do all of the above.
I think we did everything except shoot well. We had, I don't know what our first half percentage was from three-pointers. I told them 2 for 20, but we didn't make many, and if we dropped those early. But, we came out, one of my keys was defense, and we held them to 28 points, and it was a battle. We got in a little foul trouble, a couple nicky-tack injuries here at the second half, so I had some other girls step up, but I was really proud of their defense tonight, 28 points.
You talked about missing a lot of shots, but we were also seeing a lot of offensive rebounding. We saw them crashing the boards. Case in point, the very first possession of the game, you had 4 looks at three-pointers. That means 3 offensive boards. They may not have gone into the cylinder, but certainly the girls were hustling.
Yeah, 4 different people shooting threes, too. So that's a neat thing. And, I think I'll stick to coaching and not the color guy. But, as long as we keep winning, we got a tough one against Snohomish. I heard you ask AJ, 1 game at a time, and it's Snohomish, an arch rival. And it should be a great game on Friday night.
It turns out Snohomish may not be as bad as that 2-7 start they got off to. Ken Roberts can coach a little bit too, can't he?
When we get together, it's a battle of 2 programs. The green and the red, we battle, and it's 2 great teams. And his record, don't be fooled by it, So it should be a good battle come Friday night.
Friday night, indeed. This team right now undefeated in league play. More importantly, for the time being, because he says 1 game at a time, 42-28 victory tonight. John Rasmussen, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
You bet. There you go. That is Steve Willits along with John Rasmussen, head coach of the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. And tonight the Warriors win it 42-28. So thanks again to Steve Willits, to Todd Elvig and Sarah Elvig from STSPN.com. Again, tonight's final score from Everett High School, 42-28, Edmonds-Woodway over the Everett Seagulls. Thanks for being with us on STSPN.com. Good night, everybody.